SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information.
SBRForum Videos, I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing UFC 168, and right now we are joined by returning guest Nick Kalikas from MMA oddsmaker.com and also a contributing MMA analyst for MMA oddsmaker.com, Brad Taschuk. Guys, thanks for being back with us.
Thanks for having us back.
All right, let's start right in, right? Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva, the rematch, right? Silva's a minus 150 favorite. Weidman's plus 130 on the other side. These are the latest lines that I've seen at 5 dimes. And just, according to the script, Silva wins this one, right? They got paid in the first fight. Weidman won, so now they're getting paid here in the rematch. If Weidman wins again, they don't get paid a third time. If Silva wins, they get paid again. So, according to the script, Silva minus 150, great value. Brad Taschuk, do you agree with that?
No, I don't think Chris Weidman cares about the script. He's just there. He's just a guy who's been training and constantly improving. And I think that Silva, as great as he is, he's 38. He's not getting any better at this point, and Chris Weidman is. So I think he wins this fight.
All right. So then why do you think Silva's a favorite then?
The public.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson Silva, he's the greatest fighter of all time. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of support. A lot of people think that he lost the first fight because he was clowning around, and they sort of ignore the fact that he was losing the fight in the first round, and even on the feet in the second round, he wasn't doing all that great. He was posturing a whole lot more than being effective.
All right, so you think that the reasons Weidman won in the first fight were fundamental, and they're just going to be, as strong or even possibly stronger here?
I think they're going to be stronger. I think
Wow.
one of the things in the first fight is that he did get a little bit tired.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more, the moment getting over him. You saw him spin for a knee bar on the ground, which was, a pretty crazy move to go for against Anderson Silva. Shows a little bit of nerves. He was a little bit anxious to get that fight done with. I think he's going to be more patient this time and even more effective.
All right, so it sounds like you think there's great value on Weidman at plus 130 as an underdog.
I like him.
All right, Nick Kalikas, how's the public been betting? Has the public actually, been betting on Silva to win this one?
Yeah, actually a little bit so. I opened at minus 140, so it's basically where it opened at 150, 155 or so. A little bit more support coming in on Silva, and the sportsbooks are getting more action overall across the board on Anderson Silva as well.
Do you think you're going to have a premium play at MMA Oddsbreaker on this one at all?
It's a possibility. I mean, this fight is another tough one. Like you said, a lot of people believe the first fight was a fluke. A lot of diehards believe that it wasn't a fluke, so there could be some value here. I mean, as far as distance plays go, as far as maybe props go, there's a lot of ways that you can end this fight. I don't think, one thing I know for sure is it's not going to go 5 rounds.
So Nick, just in your personal opinion, do you think that the reasons that Weidman won, were fundamental in the first fight, and they're going to be here as strong or stronger?
Well, I'm in agreement with Brad. I think that people were kind of underestimating Weidman's performance in the first fight. Sure, it looked like he was starting to slow down a little bit, but he had success. He had success on the feet. He had success, obviously, in the wrestling department as well. So Silva, love him or hate him, whatever you want to say about the guy, he's definitely probably the best all-time fighter that has ever graced MMA. I mean, you could throw Fedor in there. You could throw a lot of arguments in there. But, I mean, the guy, what he's accomplished in the UFC will probably never be done again. I mean, George St. Pierre came close, but still Anderson Silva is the man. So hard to bet against a guy like that. He's dominated pretty much everybody he's faced. So, I just think that Father Time is finally catching up to him. I think all that pressure of being at the top is probably mentally straining and draining, I should say, as well. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration here. I mean, financially, Anderson Silva's set. I don't think he needs to worry about money. He's going to show up to fight, no doubt about it. I think he wants to win this fight. I don't think he's not going to care about this fight, obviously. But I do think that the advantages do lie possibly Weidman here. So
do you think that Silva's in a steep decline or just a very mild decline?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. We're not going to base everything just off one performance. I mean, He got clipped. A lot of people said, like I said, he was clowning around. But if you notice, I mean, in his fights recently, he has been getting tagged a little bit more. And even against Sonnen, a few fights back, he got rocked as well. So there's a little bit of a sign of decline on Anderson Silva. And again, I just think that he's at that spot where eventually it's going to show. Now, it's not fair to say that it showed in his last fight against Weidman, no. But I do think he's on a decline. Is it severe? Not fair to say at this point that it is.
All right, so it sounds like there's probably going to be huge overall volume on this fight, and it sounds like you're going to actually be needing Weidman a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. The props are going to be a bit crazy. A lot of people are
Right,
going to take
right.
Anderson Silva inside. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take Weidman inside as well. A lot of people are going to take under. They're probably not going to believe that the fight goes over. So, a lot of ways, again, you could bet this fight. We probably will have a play on MMA Oddsbreaker Premium for this fight. But again, so many different ways to go. We'll see. We'll decide when it gets a little bit closer to fight time.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go back to Brad Taschuk before we wrap this up. Brad, so clearly, as far as the odds to win the fight, you're liking a Weidman plus 130. Is there any prop that you would recommend as well?
Not particularly, because I think that Weidman is so well-rounded that he has multiple ways that he can win the fight. Obviously, we saw in the first fight he can knock Anderson out. I think that's a possibility here again, but he also has a very, very good submission game, and he's got the wrestling that, if he needs to grind it out, he's been able to do that in the past. So I can really see him winning the fight in any of the three avenues. So I think, getting that plus money on him, that's the way to go rather than trying to pile in on a prop.
Okay, Brad Taschuk and Nick Kalikas, the feeling seems to be that the value is with Weidman as an underdog. Thanks, guys.